Hey you. Yes, you, new Tenno. Let me ask you something. Do you find hunting tedious? How about mining? Or fishing? Or do you suck at spy? In fact, are you that one guy who always messes up a vault during a sortie or Archon hunt and fail the mission for everybody? If you answered yes to any of these, little new Tenno, then I have just the solution for you. And it's simply this. Just use Ivara. Now with that scripted intro out of the way, as a guy who's been playing Warframe since 2018, I've come to notice that most new Tenno struggle with one mission type in particular, and that is spy. And for good reason. They are stealth missions where you have to sneak by guards, lasers, spotlights, drones, hack one, maybe several consoles, and going into a guarded area with no idea where to go or what to do to not trip alarms is daunting and intimidating. And if a spy mission shows up in, say, a quest, a sortie, or Archon hunt, failing a single vault could cost you the mission, wasting your squad mates' precious time. So in this video, I'm going to offer a solution that will make spy missions super easy and chill to do. And most of that revolves around this Warframe, Ivara. Ivara is a unique Warframe. She's not meta, not by a long shot. But she has lots of quirks about her and her kit that makes her a mainstay in most players' inventory. There are multiple ways to acquire her, including her prime. But for regular Ivara, the first way to acquire her is doing spy missions. You crack all three in a mission and you have a chance to get her parts, as well as some 60/60 mods. The next is by doing Circuit on normal after completing the Very Paradox quest, and especially on a week where Ivara is available to farm. Now as a new player, you have the option to do Very Paradox as soon as you start up Warframe. I recommend doing this so you can have Circuit open for you to farm Ivara as well as other Warframes on certain weeks, as this is sometimes easier than farming for some frames the intended way. But getting Ivara through Circuit also means you can get one of her augments. In fact, the augment for Ivara and the key to easy mode spy, Infiltrate. Otherwise, you have to get this mod through syndicates, which is sold by Cephalon Suda or Parents Sequence, for 25,000 standing after maxing rank with one of them, which can take a while, and resources. Basically, just get them through Circuit. Now that you have Ivara and her augment, let's go over what this frame does. And only one, maybe two abilities are actually important here to what we want to accomplish when it comes to spy, along with other activities later. The first is Ivara's passive, which basically gives her better enemy radar than anyone else. Not impactful, but kinda nice to have. Next is her second ability, Navigator, which is not important. Then her 4, Artemis Bow, which is also not important. Her first ability, however, is Quiver lets you cycle through 4 different arrows that perform different abilities. The first is Cloak Arrow. You fire at the ground, it creates an AoE, and if you stand in it, you go invisible. At least until when the timer runs out. The next arrow you have in Quiver is Noise Arrow. You fire one of these and this will cause unalerted enemies to go wherever you fire the arrow. You can herd them like lost dumb sheep. Next is Sleep Arrow. You fire this into a crowd and they all go and take a nap. This is useful for what I will show later, but not really needed for spy. Lastly is Dash Arrow. And this one is particularly unique because it lets you fire a tightrope for you to walk on, basically letting you go anywhere without needing to bullet jump. And this is handy for the last of Ivara's abilities, and her most crucial one, Prowl. Now what Prowl does is once activated, Ivara will go invisible. However, while in Prowl, she can only move at half speed. Also stuff like bullet jumping, sliding, sprinting, or shooting a non-silent weapon will break the cloak. However, climbing, wire walking, while running, and more importantly, rolling will not break the cloak. While Ivara is invisible, she will slowly drain energy, and when it runs out, no more invis. While in Prowl, Ivara can sneak up behind enemies and pickpocket them to get ammo, health, and sometimes energy. While you do walk slow in Prowl, it does not restrict you from rolling. And this is the method we will use to quickly get around. Now, going invis is not unique to Ivara. Frames like Loki and Ashe can go invis with less restriction. But Prowl is unique due to its augment, Infiltrate. What this mod does is allow Ivara to go through lasers, including ones that would trigger alarms. And this is what allows Ivara to be perfect Warframe for spy. So let's get to the build. Now if you are a new player, I'm assuming you have at least one Orokin reactor lying around by doing Nightwave. and not a lot of mods, nor any arcanes to your name. No matter, this build works with 1 reactor and 0 forma. In fact, you can even get away with not putting in a reactor at all. That is, if you're willing to be patient. I still recommend slotting one in, as having spare mod capacity gives you more starting energy when you enter a mission. Now for this demonstration, I'll be using Ivara Prime, but really, any advantages the Prime has is negligible in this case. Now I also have 1 Amber Shard installed, which gives extra parkour speed, but you can get away with not needing one just yet. And also for this, I will not be using Prime mods. In fact, I won't be using any Sentinels, no Arcanes, nothing. Now, along with the Augment, we need to build Ivara so that she can stay in peril for as long as possible. For that, we want to carry more energy with Flow, have more efficiency thanks to Streamline. Also, we are getting extra duration through Continuity and Augur Message, the latter of which you're able to get in Cetus by doing bounties. Now also for this, I am using Mobilize, which gives us more parkour speed so we can roll faster and further. Now for the aura, we are using Energy Siphon, giving us passive energy generation. Now mind you, this doesn't work while we are in Prowl, but for those moments between vaults, this will let us return some lost energy. I'm pretty sure you can get this by buying it in Nightwave when it becomes available on a week. And this is basically all we need for Spy. But even as a new Tenno, you can take things a step further by going into your Parazon and installing this mod, Intruder, which will give you 8 extra seconds to hack any console, taking a bit of pressure off. There is also Auto Breach, which gives you a chance to complete the console, but you'd have to farm for this one. Now one other thing, if you're bringing a companion into a mission, make sure your companion does not attack anyone. So if you're using assault mode in your Sentinel, take it off. And also, be sure to bring a weapon that is silent, like say a bow like the Paris or the Dread. Now for this run, I'll be using the Daiku Prime, just because even that is better than using Artemis Bow. And to show this build in action, we are going into a spy mission on Steel Path. And on top of that, we're going into a tile set which I see new Tenno fail at all the time, Corpus Gas City. Now with that done, I can show you how to invest in Ivara even further. And not just for Spy, but also hunting on Orvalis as well. Rescuing wildlife is a great way to earn rep and Fortuna, especially since you can use Ivara's sleep arrows to accomplish this. Now, some things you'll need for this. First, get yourself an Arcwing launcher. Then get yourself a trank rifle from the Biz and Fortuna. Now as Ivara, you can fly around, listen for Sorgas or Krubodons, and if you pull out your trank rifle, an ADS with it, they'll be highlighted. Get out of Arcwing far enough away, go into Prowl, and once you get close enough, fire a sleep arrow at the animal. And then you gotta quickly hop over so you can evac it, Metal Gear style. And if you're lucky enough to snag a Kuberdon, you get a lot of rep. And the great thing about this is that hunting for rep is much faster than doing bounties. Now, if you're doing other stuff in the Valis or the other two open world areas, say mining, fishing, Ivara will let you do those things without the fuss of anyone or anything wanting to make your life that much miserable. Bring your cutter of choice, use Ivara's cloak arrows to go invisible, and just mine in peace. Now, something to note, your cutter is not silent, and if you're in Prowl, you won't be invisible anymore. Which is why I recommend using a cloak arrow instead. However, Prowl does work if you're fishing. With enemies unable to bother you, you can just fish like it's a free Sunday. If you want to take Ivara further, you can follow this build. And with the exception of Mobilize plus 1 extra Forma, you can give Ivara more range for her arrows, more strength for her to get a headshot bonus on Prowl, as well as put on more duration and efficiency. You will certainly want to bank more energy by slotting in Prime Flow. Preparation is nice to have, as it will let you start a mission with full energy. In terms of arcanes, Energize will make it so that any energy orb we pick up will give us way more energy than normal, pretty much ensuring that we never run out of energy while in Prowl. Now this arcane is kind of a slog to grind for, but you can farm it whenever an event that lets you earn arcanes comes around so you can get a full set. While you are at it, you can also get Arcane Consequence, which gives more parkour velocity on headshots, allowing Ivara to roll further, letting her move more quickly. You can also put Amalgam Barrel Diffusion on your secondary weapon for the same effect, and equip the Praetos for even faster rolls. And while that is not enough for you, you can slot in Ambush Shards for, you guessed it, even more parkour velocity. Honestly, Prowl becomes no hindrance at all if you roll everywhere at this much parkour speed. So there you have it. Now you have no excuse to suck at Spy. So the next time a Sortie or Archon hunt comes along, and there's a spy mission involved, please, for everyone's sake, just use Ivara.